Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. And as usual, whenever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers from Keshe Foundation Special Institute. As we said with the last week teaching, we put the cats among the pigeons. And now we have to show how the cats survives and the pigeons can stay where they are. Now we have to find coexistence, understand in much more detail, how the framework of the teaching of last week was set and how we build a framework around this new knowledge. This knowledge is what we need in space. Up to now, you had the knowledge of the cancer spots in matter state. Now you have to come to a point, you're becoming trouble of the universe, your bones and your other bits are troublesome. In a way, if you look at what was the last pictures of the intro and what we told last week, is very simple. Ask yourself a single question. When you die, the moment the soul separates from the physicality, does it carry any bones? Does it have muscles? And why should the dimension of physicality of the man comes to be to have if he survives the space? We have conditioned ourselves to this understanding that will keep our body as it is, as we accepted till very recently, till we discussed about 2 years ago, that the life of the planet is more than 4 billion, and now apparently everybody agrees it's 13 billion, and now very soon will be 50 billion and the rest of it. So we accepted, we've been by illiterate scientists forced to accept that we need our bones, we need our physical structure. We went through evolution. We lost some bits. We still, most of us carry the bits we don't need with the evolution. And we do call it appendix. It's just sitting there doing nothing or whatever. Bits of what job it does is not needed, because in the past was needed when we were in the process of evolution. In the evolution of the space, do we need bones? Do we need muscles? And as we understood the work of the teaching of the past, do we need a brain? Or the interaction of the emotions create a condition that brings that motion in the body of the man, which allows us to interact. A few interesting points will come to be understood as we go deeper into this understanding of the creation. In the writing of the Holy Books, they say even a stone has a soul, because it's the center of it is an energy. Every cell in the body of the man has a soul, which is his internal energy. And that soul cannot be fed with the matter state energy from the blood. Lions with lions, and pigeons with pigeons. The physical body of the man, the blood circulation and interaction with the lymph as a pulse repetition and the conversion of the frequency in creating a matter of, this is to do with the physical part. Who feeds the soul of the cell? And the soul needs more energy than the physical part. So now you understand the teaching of last week. Melanin, myelin, feeding in interaction across the skin to the what we call the cell in between them, the souls of the cells. Otherwise the system doesn't work. It's a two-way communication. The leech spans the whole structure, and not just in the soul of the man, in the brain of the man. Now you understand why we put this process in motion as of last week. The blood, the food you eat, feeds your physicality, and we have all the formulas 10 times your weight is the energy you need a day, but 100 times the weight is the more or less something our body uses. So if you go, 80 kilo times 10, you need 800 calories, let's say, or actually no, per pound you go, the Americans do, and multiplied by 4, you need 320 calories. Or as it goes, the energy needed, because the soul is much more active and is much more dynamic, and it feeds, controls the operation of every bit which is in that cell. Scientists have broken down the cells, so many bits and everything, but they don't tell you where the energy of it comes from, where the control of it comes from. It's just there. They do the job. Now you understand the soul of the cell provides energy the same as it does with the rest of our physicality. Now you understand why you have melanin, myelin, and the soul of the cell. Physical food you eat is the energy of the matter state conversion into GANs, which is not strong enough, is not sufficient enough to feed the soul of the cell. So, melanin and myelin are there to cover between the what they call the skin and the other skin, a central tube to feed the energy needed for central control of the system. And when you are in a deep space, you are in a new condition, gravity higher or lower, your bones will stretch, your bones have to shrink, and brings you death. So automatically, there is no combination unless you became a chewing gum, elasticated bones and muscles cannot survive in a space. What do we say? Gravity on the moon is compared to the Earth, and gravity on the Mars is so much compared to the Earth. Yeah, but it cannot do, even in our evolution doesn't do. In our evolution, if you're a teenager and you suddenly grow that your muscles and ligaments pull, but the bone doesn't pull, you know what it does to you. If it's strong enough, breaks your bone. And if it's the other way around, the bone grows faster than the ligaments and muscle tissues pull apart and everything else. And you expect to do this, going from Earth to Mars in a few seconds, go through the evolution of all, or transform into energy, and according to the time, place, and position, manifest in the dimension of what can exist on time and place. We force the condition of physicality with what we call the monkey suit for man to be. The man cannot live on the planetary systems, on the moon systems, and the rest inside what we call a monkey suit outside. And to evolve will take billions of years. So the only way for man to enjoy immediate travel from the villages of Africa to sit on the savanna of the Mars needs to be on the energy level. And physicality has to be protected by the energy, unless physicality takes condition in connection with what we call the energy of the soul to manifest the entity which can live in that place, position, and what we call the strength. Now you understand how the teaching is getting connected. Your soul dictates to the soul of the cell, and at the same time dictates to the skin near that cell how much the soul of the cell needs to feed back that it can guarantee survival. Interesting point for many scientists is that If you've been with our teachings in the past, God knows, decade or so, and according to the world of science, your cell of your skin lasts 28 days, your blood cell lasts same time, more or less, because it matches it. The blood circulation energy gives has to be comparison cell by cell to the cell of the skin. At a given point, it releases energy that confirms and conducts what we call its activity. You have billions of blood cells floating in your vein, but that cell will not release its energy till it reaches its given position in balance with the cell and with the soul of the cell and the soul of the skin melanin. It's a switch, match, go. Now you understand why you have so many blood cells, because it goes everywhere till it gets to the point that it can release it. The cell which carries the energy in the blood cell, even it carries the soul of that cell in the blood cell, till it doesn't reach at the point, let's say, the cell of the kidney, that not releases energy there. It doesn't release that energy to the brain cells, it doesn't release the energy to the whole cell, only matches to that cell of what we call the kidney, for example. The timer, the position, the cycle now is now understood, is dictated by the combination of the soul of the cell and the energy of the blood, which carries match to match. If you understood this, and one day scientists can literally go down to the last bit of the understanding, it comes to one conclusion. Measure the number of cells you carry in your body, and then measure the number of cells you carry in your blood. They match. If you take the total cell of the body of the man and the total cell within the blood circulation of the man, is exactly the same numbers. Any deviation in numbers which changes the emotion which comes through the what we call the conversion of melanin, the myelin to the cell, leads to your cancer. And any diversion in the matter state will lead to cancer too, because the energy is higher. Emotion is added to that cell, and there is no match for it in the blood to feed it, to interact with it, and to take the waste away of the energy level. So the matter stays there, the energy stays there, the pulse is there, the lymph is there, so there's one thing left alone, to change into a harder, that I stay here till I receive the energy from the blood cell. This is why many of the people in the world of science and technology, they say, if you eat this thing or that thing, it can cure your cancer, it can get rid of diabetic and the rest of it. Now you understand the process. And if you go in the world of the extension of life, if you understand the working of the cycle of life, then you understand at the same time that how by changing the circulation, the speed, and concentrating by repetition of the energy by the lymph at a given point, you can do much more than what we call, for example, in the exercises or curing yourself. You got cancer. You find you carry a cancer cell. Why that cancer is there? The field energy And the emotional side, which is your soul side, which works through your dimension of the melanin, is disturbed. And at the same time, what energy comes through the blood circulation and the matter conversion, which gives your physicality, doesn't match. I stay there till I find a match, and then it becomes psychosomatic because the emotion has changed the energy level at a given point, and the physicality doesn't have the match of it. What does it do? It changes the cycle, the frequency, and the pulse, and it leads to creation of the much more denser, till I find the solution, the energy matching me in the blood, and it's not there. And then, if you take a herb or whatever, which can boost the energy of all the blood cells, given the strength which matches, let's say, to the kidney, then you say, oh, you eat this and the cancer goes or disease disappears. And then go back to the what we call monk's way of thinking. What did they do? How did they cure themselves? They bring emotion to their body, which changes the absorption of the universal field. They change the emotion, and I have a pain in my knee. What do? I bring the emotion to that point. I bring my attention to that point. And by contraction and the release and change of the breathing, I change till where the energy of the cell, of the emotion and physicality need to do their work. Now you understand how the teaching of the past comes together. Why your breath, how you breathe, how you hold your, what we call inhale and exhale, and bringing attention to the point where the pain is, in conjunction with the motion of the soul, can change. Because you change the dimension, the energy level of the blood cells. By contracting in that position the muscle tissue, you change the condition of the, what we call the lymph. And then through the emotion of the pain you carry, concentrating, you bring in the energy from the soul. Now you see how the system works. Your antibiotic, your ibuprofen, your aspirin comes through your emotion, through your skin, and in respect to the nerve system, which is, and where the cell sits within the two. You create a pressure, in a way you change the environment, you create a new moon, and now the energies of what you brought in changes, the lymph strength changes, and to that position, because you put it on the contraction, which releases higher energy, and you take it lower energy, takes the pain away from it. And it can do the same thing with the food, the way what you eat, you don't need. If you change your breathing system, go back into the teaching of God knows 400, 500, I explained this, how the guy came at the beginning, I think it's in the first few years, the guy came to the Sansano being a guru, and the guy that had pen in front of him that he cannot touch the ground. When I told him, I know you're cheating, how you eat by changing your breathing, nothing has changed. Now you understand the process. But you do that in your lungs. You change your breathing, you move different capacity. Now you come to the monks, what do? Look at the present, the sports phenomena. You run as much as you can and you lift heavy weights and the rest of it. But You see the people who have no muscles, no exaggeration, they don't do the marathon runs, they sit very calmly, they what they call exercise the underlying muscles, which works only through the lymph, and the foundation is strong, you don't need bigger muscles. Now you understand how the system works. And if you can change that, you can change anything in your body. And by breathing, the sequence of breathing, the sequence of the motion and the position, and then understanding how through emotion you change the absorption through the skin of the body of the man. Brain, skin, and lung are the same tissue, the biggest tissue of the body of the man. The biggest tissue is not your intestine, it's your skin, which is connected to your brain and is part of your lung. Interface. The skin interfaces with the environment. The lung interfaces with the gases of the environment. And they're all connected to the interface with the soul of the man, which is the brain. Now you can see how the system works. And if you could understand this, you get trapped, your arm gets trapped in a, God knows, let's say, on the top between two stones and you can't go anywhere. Our ancestors knew how to change the emotion in the brain, that it transfers through the skin, and at that point, in a way, it detaches itself, but at the same time creates a condition that the hand and arm can grow. We used to be reptiles because we knew this. We lost our tail, we created it, we lost our kidney, we brought it back. But in the process of not knowing how to handle the emotion, man has forgotten. If one day the scientists gather what we call little lizards and connect in the right way, they can see the emotion that loss of a tail will create in the brain of the reptile. What happens to the snake when it changes the skin? We look at the what we call physical image, but internally every soul receives energy from its environment and from its what we call resources to create that condition. And in a way, if you look at it, when a snake sheds skin, the pressure, the emotion of the pressure not fitting into a jacket of the skin, it allows it to change it. Without the emotion, it will never change. And that emotion, which comes through the emotion, which comes through the interaction of the soul and the soul of physicality, needs the energy which is in no food in the life of the man. It comes through cosmic ray. It comes through the energy man absorbs from the space. Then now you understand how emotion through the skin creates the psychosomatic and interaction with that field, which is connected in a way, circle completes through your nervous system, and you live. Your skin through melanin absorbs the energy. You pass it on through the space gap energy difference as the stronger feels the weaker to the myelin. Myelin transfers it in a way directly into the nerve system, going back up, picks up what the emotion wants through the soul, comes back down the skin, and what you get. Circle completed. Energy balance is between what is absorbed on the skin by melanin and the weaker through myelin and the weaker through the cell, and then transferred all to the neural system to create the condition of transfer of the energy, what we call the heat body of the man. Now even you understand why your skin is cold and you feel the emotion inside, why you get excited when you touch another skin, because you interfere with the energy which the rest of the cosmic rays of the body has absorbed. Then we understand much more in the structure of the life of the man. Mankind needs to understand the process of the creation, and mankind needs to understand the double side of physical energy part of what we call the life. In so many ways, they have to match, otherwise they cannot create life. They cannot create tangibility, visibility, or what's called physicality, and even condition of the survival. This is why matching energies are needed to be able to confirm existence, yin and yang, soulmate, and how many other names mankind has found for this simple interaction of the matter state with the energy and the space in between, what we call the lymph of the man. The identity of the matter state for the lymph, it comes when it reads and it receives the emotion of the soul through the skin of the man and through the nervous system. If you can change one or control one or bring one to work not in synchronization with another, you create all sorts of mayhems, because the emotion comes, or the soul of the man telling the skin what to absorb, then that goes to what transferred to myelin, and then the rest of it, and the circle is complete. The beauty of this is that even the heart, which creates the circulation of the matter state energy, itself has a soul which is connected to the soul of the man. What I feed, I'm fed by. I am the beginning and I am the end. And now you understand how the system works. And if you understand this, and if you understood how to control your breathing, how to bring attention to a given point, how to change the dimension, you can transmute. You see, as I explained, when you do the pain on the knee, you bring the tension, you bring the motion of physical condition, that's where I want it. You change your lymph, your breathing, and then energy gets different. I can heal myself. Now, instead of using, let's say, your knee, bring that attention to your soul in the dimension of physicality of the brain of the man. And then you see the soul flies, does not need the physicality for its transmutation. You had the knee pain, you changed your breathing, you brought underlying motions to your muscles, to that area, to interact with the lymph of it. You brought the tension, or call the pressure and the pain emotion by the skin to feed it, and the pain goes. Now do that with your emotion and do that with your soul. Now you understand you can fly the span of the universe in the dimension of the soul, and you need no physicality. Unless you expand what we call encapsulation energy beyond the physicality of the man, that yes, okay, you can take it with you, but sorry, this is going to be a burden on the moon. It's different, and the pressures are different, and physicality has a problem to move, but the soul is free. That's it. Move your toe, bring the pressure to it. The motion does not to be moving it. Just know that you're doing it, and then transfer the energy to it, the thought and the motion of the soul and the breathing, and then you see how the pain goes. Move it next to the ankle, next to the knee, next to your head, next to the part of organ of your body, and then to the neck, and then put it inside the soul. And then you see how you become what we call the passengers of the universe, because you have created double magnetic field between your emotion, which does not need the physicality of the brain and the soul. Double reactors. Two different energies, finding balance in position in respect to the what we call gravitational field of the Earth, and then voila, you propel the space of the universe. Now you understand how you exercise, how you start to do. Start from your extremities and move up and see what changes. And then observe. Then you bring it to your soul, we know where it is, and try to encapsulate the energy in what we call the structure of the brain. Instead of your blood vessels interacting the magnetic field motion with the soul, you create the energy through the same process yourself. Now you dictate the gravitational magnetic field. Now you dictate the motion of the soul, and where the soul goes, the physicality will follow, but it changes that it can follow, and you transmute. This is how every cell in your body transmutes energy from what we call melanin to myelin, and then to the dimension of the soul. The weaker one receives energy, and then when it changes, the soul takes over and becomes the dimensional life. This is how you die. This is how the end of life comes for man. The energy of the physicality in conjunction with what is circulating, what is set up, creates a dimension of double reactive energy, which allows the soul to travel the span of the universe. And this cascade, which is there, is actually another protector of the soul of the man, is that eggshell, that membrane that is over the egg. The soul still sits within. Once you understand this, you have to exercise, you have to practice, you have to understand, then would I buy a Rolls Royce with a sickness engine and kill myself to do 200, and if I do 120, my police stops me and gives me a ticket, where I use the Rolls Royce of my brain, my soul, and travel the span of universe that there is no policeman, and man can travel the speed beyond his own imagination. Now you understand how it works. Now this is your exercise till next week. Learn fast movement, you failed. Energy movement is what you're targeting. Start with your toe. And move it gradually up to your knee, to your hip, to your back. And don't shake hands with no one, because then you transfer energies which you might need, and you have to start from zero. Now you understand the process of the transmutation. Now you understand why we teach about myelin and melanin and the rest. Because it's the way you transfer energy, it's the way you create energy, it's the way you distribute energy, and it's the way you have the energy of the soul and not energy of the physicality. Gradually, in the next few weeks, we teach you more. But start practicing. Start practicing how you are going to be able to transmute, but you have to understand the structure of your physicality, that in a space you don't leave your toes and your foot behind and come back, oh my God, I used to have a foot on the moon, now I have none. Learn the boundaries of the energy, learn how to breathe, learn how to bring attention to the point, learn how to divert the energy of the emotion to that point, and point it, put your finger on it. But that's where I need you. 4-second breath in, 4-second hold, 6-second breathe out, 2 seconds hold. This changes the rhythm of the heart. This changes the energy which is given to the lymph. This now tells where I want you to do your work. My knee to get rid of the pain, my brain to make me a transmitter of the space. Let's see what you learn. This is the first time we put the exercise to you. Try it next week and see how you can move the energy from the toe. Feel it into your muscles, into your knee, in your hip, and in your brain, and then you see you start transmuting. It's not that hard. Not hard at all. And you can do the same if you have a partner. Transfer that emotion to them and see how they feel. I'm not going to tell my partner he does something wrong, this happen to it. No, I just gave the emotion to the motion of the soul of him. You do wrong, I have already set the limit. The energy above that is something you don't have, you cannot handle, and you suffer with it. The day of judgment. As long as you stay within the limit I put, because this is what keeps me happy and you accept it to make me happy, that's your limitation. Understand the process of the creation is not just one piece. That's why doctors and the scientific world has always been a problem with the body of the man. They never understood the energy. They never understood the effect of the lymph. They never understood the effect of the blood circulation. And as you go back to the teachings, I always said every cell of the body of the man is address posted and only delivers to that post. Now, you can see what dictates that post, the energy which absorbed from the cosmos through the melanin, the myelin, and says, this is the dress. Give me the energy, give me the cycle that I can live and I can energize the cell. Process of creation is very simple. Understanding it with what they have taught us is a little bit hard. But once you understand totality of it, then you see life is different. You understand more than you thought you ever knew. Try to fully understand the work, the purpose, the emotion, and the energy. And bring it up to your chest, bring it up to your brain, and cascade your soul. Now you have a double core. You have gravitational and magnetical. How you adjust this emotion allows you to lift your physicality or allows you to condition yourself to travel the span of the universe, as I don't need the physical life to take with me. Not necessary. I'm going to let it die. But it can hang there till I come back. I'll give you a lifeline to use the energy what's left in the lung. We go for a break, we come back. And then you understand more about yourself. And I have given you the key how to transmute. Try it till next week. And if you have the courage to tell us, let us know if you succeeded with any part of it. We go for a break and we come back. And we leave it to answer any questions.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Kesh. All right, well, as mentioned, we will have a short break here and at our 652nd Knowledge Seekers workshop. And in this break, we have a new Kesh Coin video, Kesh Coin number 6, and it's regarding governments. And we'll play that now. And after that break, we'll have an opportunity to ask questions of Mr. Kesh. And the folks here in Zoom can put up their virtual hand, and then I can recognize it and open the microphone. And you can also put questions in the chat or in the Q&A in Zoom, and also in the chat in YouTube. All right, we'll be back shortly.
Every government carries the responsibility of protecting its people. Healthcare, education, public safety, infrastructure, the environment, the future of the next generation. But every year, these responsibilities grow faster than available public resources. The challenge is no longer only economic, it is structural. When citizens cannot clearly see how public resources become public value, trust begins to disappear. And when governments lack transparent and efficient tools, essential public services become more difficult to deliver. The challenge is not only creating more wealth, it is creating more trust. Now imagine a different possibility. A transparent framework where citizens and governments participate together under law, with accountability, independent auditing, and measurable public benefit. At the center of this proposed framework is Cashcoin. In this proposed model, each eligible citizen receives an allocation of 1,000 cash coins. Each cash coin is presented with a fixed internal value of 1,000 euros. The presented total value therefore becomes 1 million euros. Governments and private companies are invited to formally join the Cash Foundation at cashfoundation.at. 100 coins is given to the government national treasury of the individual participating and registering and accepting the cash coin. Citizen allocation remains at 1,000 cash coins. In addition, governments can request cash coin for infrastructure and national projects, which will be granted on approval. There is no hidden taxation. It is a transparent public allocation established by law and public agreement. Public value is measured by what citizens receive: healthcare, education, safe infrastructure, scientific research, environmental restoration, technology, opportunity, human dignity. A transparent digital treasury allows citizens to understand how public resources are being used, how much entered, where it was approved, how much was released, who completed the work, and who independently verified the result. Transparency creates confidence. Confidence strengthens society. The future is not built by governments alone. It is not built by citizens alone. It is built when responsibility, technology, law, and trust work together. Participation creates connection. Connection creates cooperation. Through the peace game, people around the world may contribute to a shared digital ecosystem. Verified participation may become eligible to receive cash coin. This is not competition. It is cooperation. It is participation. It is contribution. Participants who actively take part in the global network system will be eligible to receive 30 cash coins each year. The One Nation Network device allows individuals and institutions to participate in expanding the global infrastructure. Verified network operators may become eligible to receive annual cash coin rewards. The network grows because people participate, not because they speculate. Future annual activity income may be taxed according to national law. Every participating country may establish its own fair taxation policy. The objective is fairness, transparency, and sustainable public services. The initial public allocation and annual taxation remain separate. The same income is never counted twice. In participating countries, citizens may be permitted to pay approved public obligations using cash coin. Every transaction is secure, verified, recorded, auditable. Technology supports public administration. It does not replace the rule of law. Governments entering formal agreements may use cash coin within approved international cooperation. Medical equipment, food, technology, scientific services, infrastructure. Digital settlement occurs only after verified delivery. Transparency protects both sides. When disaster strikes, transparent public resources may respond faster. Every emergency allocation should remain traceable, audited, and accountable, helping people when they need it most. When citizens participate, when governments remain transparent, when technology serves humanity, a stronger society begins to emerge. Trust, participation, responsibility, knowledge. A stronger society is not built only by punishment. It is built through opportunity, education, healthcare, community, employment, and hope. When people have access to opportunity, many of the conditions that contribute to crime can begin to decline. The greatest investment any nation can make is education. A knowledgeable society creates a stronger economy, better government, and a more peaceful future. Technology has value only when it improves human life. It should reduce suffering, protect the environment, expand knowledge, and help humanity move forward together. The future belongs to those who protect the planet while building it. Environmental restoration is an investment in future generations. Trust grows when governments remain transparent, when every public project can be verified, when every citizen can see results. The future cannot be built by governments alone. It cannot be built by citizens alone. It is built together. Responsibility, knowledge, trust, cooperation. United under the Kesh Foundation and Kesh Coin, governments and individuals stand mutually accountable, working as one society to build a transparent, peaceful, and sustainable future. Different nations, different cultures, different languages, but one shared future. One nation, one planet, one race. When humanity is finally free to think beyond survival, the human soul may begin to elevate. A peaceful civilization does not only build better cities, it builds better human beings. Knowledge, compassion, responsibility, and wisdom become humanity's greatest achievements. The next great journey of humanity is not only across the earth, it is toward understanding, toward existence, toward creation, toward the infinite universe. When knowledge and peace walk together, humanity can carry not only technology, but consciousness itself into the stars. Kesh Coin, a proposed framework where people and governments may work together to build a transparent, peaceful, scientific, and sustainable future. The future is not something we inherit. It is something we choose to build.
Okay, we are back again at the 652nd Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And as explained, because it's the second part, there will be an opportunity to ask questions. And before we engage in that, I think Mr. Kesh will have a thing or two to say before we begin. So please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, we have a few announcements to make. As of next week, we start allocating Kesh Coin amongst knowledge seekers. Small amounts for our system to check, follow, and find any problems. What we call ONN units start moving to their position in the next few days and weeks. And we only can test when we start seeing transactions. When we start seeing how coin moves, how it follows, how our security handles it. And this will go on till sometime in September, October, where we increase the numbers. The 24 of you which will receive or is receiving the ONN units, please keep it confidential. It's very important for us. And the minute you plug it, your system appears on our system. We see this plugged in. The minute you disconnect it, our system will see it. We monitor how you play, try to use your system, try to use your connections with the systems that we can see how the phases interact. There's a team set up in the background to develop all parts of it. The developers are working, and there is a structure. You have to go to the, what you call KF, import KF at AT, register, go into the game, register, and then connect yourself through the game. On the same position, on the top left-hand side, you see the coins CC and KC. And if we allocate to you the coins, you'll see it on the circle KC. We might send you 1 coin. This is part of your 30 coin annually. But it's for us to see how the fraction works, how the system works, how we can trace it, and then we build it up. The minute you receive it, it carries a cable connected to your what we call network. It has to be connected to the network and connected to its power. This is the first part of the system. Once this is set up and we pass the numbers we require, we add the second part of the system, which is what we call the cosmic ray units. These are expected sometime between the end of this year and beginning of next year. And then somewhere in the very near future, we tell you to unplug your system from the power supply, which means we take over everything else. There will be apps which allows you to work within the structure to order food and see if you receive it as an energy, not the fish and chips down the line, somebody knocking at their door. And then you have a condition, you want to be happy, whatever. Gradually we build into this the whole structure. In next few weeks, we will announce the last session, which was left with a lot of you to come in, and then the system is set up that 10 of you, as I said, can come in like before. Everybody could hear everybody. It will not be there. We ask you why you're coming in, your addiction, you are hungry, you want food, you are depressed, whatever reason. We ask you beforehand, we set our systems up, and then at the end of the session, we ask you if you received it. If you haven't received it, we have to tune our system. So once you start playing the game, you become part of the structure. And it's exactly taken us 12 months to put the first orders out to the people. Remember, those of you who receive it, you all know who you are, more or less. You're asked for your addresses, your details, and everything else. Arrives, don't show it to anyone, just hide it, plug and play it, and let us monitor what we want to do. What we see, our team in the background sees what it is. Don't come and say, oh, there's this problem. Of course, the problem's there. Put your problems to us that we see that we can pass it on to the developers, what it is as they are monitoring themselves. Once our team says the 25 units across this planet is working, they can monitor it, then we release the coins. The coins for you, spend it. 1 coin is €1,000, evaluated internally by us. You go on a Keshe Foundation store, you buy an item. It says 30% is coin, you can value it, the others you pay according. We deduct it, you pay it. You will see what we call Keshe Foundation, what we call wallet. You pay into the wallet. It's directed to that way. We get a confirmation, we know you paid for what you wanted, and we move forward. We try across all continents. South America, Central America, North America, Europe, different locations, Africa, Australia, Asia, and those who have actually came in and participated in the system. The interesting part is, most probably after the first month, we test our system to see, you see 2 coins added to your circle. That's your first payment for operating the system. We might not do it the first month. We're not ready. I'll be done in next. And accumulates from the day you started. Go to your shop, say, I have a cash coin. If you play this, can I buy this? And then they give you money too. You go to your friends, universities, register, you get this, it worth so much, and they pay you every month. And then how the system starts. You bring the game as part of the collaboration and cooperation with the Keshe Foundation worldwide. You go to your governments. I registered for Keshe Foundation work. They're giving you 10,000 for me for the next 10 years. Would you like to go and register and get it? That's how you handle it. Each government, as you heard, will get 100 coins, 10 coins a year. The minute you get your registration and you receive your coins, you write to your government, why don't you claim my 10,000 for you that you can improve my services? And this is how you go. You go to your universities. You go to your shopkeeper. Go and register your business. You get 30 coins, that's 30,000. Then you can do it. We are doing our work, spreading the cash technology, and with it, the cash coin, which comes with it, the piece and everything else, is your side. It's the story of 2011-12 when we gave the key to the governments. Now you have become the governments, and then we gave it to the public in 2016. Is your 2016. You have to go to people. Have you registered? Use it. I want your tabletop. I want Apple from you. Would you accept a coin? We have offered to our employees, and system is getting a sign that they will be paid partially by coin. Once the legal frame is put in, you can get and you will receive cash coins as the employees of the Keshe Foundation worldwide. The system is up and running. Those of you who received your units, please do not let anybody know you received. You receive a special units from us, and these units are the first line. Then in September, October, we release another maybe 50 to 100 units once our team says, let's try bigger. But once they said it's okay, then we have to release the coins to you that you test. You can play with the coins. We can play with the system. What is the hiccups? There's a problem in the game you want to change, and the rest of it. So we are testing till September, October, November, when our team says ready. When they say they have seen it, they want to increase the base numbers, we might go to 150, 100, and gradually, by the end of the year, we want to make it to 1,000. We need more support to put more units in process. And then after next year, Keshe Foundation tries to, in a way, through its own operation organization, spread the 10,000 units. But we still need a number of units to be bought, to be given to us, that we can set this structure up. We need work done by us. We need work done by you. You want it, and it's your job. You all went teaching the people Ganses. This is how the Gans made. They laughed at you. They joked. They made every possible thing. You join what we call mystical method. Go to them and says, they give you 30 coins. Would you refuse 30,000? See how many of them will laugh at you. This is how you have to do. All your member of family, you ridicule your Keshe Foundation, and see how they're going to kiss your hand. Now you understand how it works. You go to your governments, you go to the companies. There is money there for you. Why don't you cash? Why don't you use it that you can pay for this and that? They will go, they will ask for it to be changed. This is the money given free, and we see who refuses and who gets addicted to use it. We've seen this process. And I learned this process from my family years and years ago. when people get free, they can do something with it. Then you see they have respect for it because now they can get something for it. I cannot buy an apple with it. Why don't you put your apple for sale? Let you see how much of it you get, who gives you what we get for your apple. We are going back to our ancestors that money had no value, everything was barter, but now your barter is guaranteed through the coins. Technical development. And then you understand how easily we all work and will bring that change. It's taken us 40 years to get here. It should take you not even 4 months to make cash coin to be international recognized coin by the people who join us. They work amongst us. Register them. Register yourself. Your husband was laughing at you. Say, sign, get 30 coins. Don't use it today. Maybe next year you get another 30, 60, 60,000. You might do something with Cash Foundation, might give you a holiday to the moon for 20,000 of it. Or you can buy a pillow or whatever else, or a fruit from the Cash Foundation guy from around the world. And see how many of them would laugh. We know how to get and use human greed. So 24 of you will receive your units in the next few days, or some in the next few 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Don't let nobody know. Plug and play it. You don't need to tell us anything. We know who you are. We contacted you. We've taken your addresses and telephone numbers and everything else. We know it's going to be IP to you. And leave it there. Let us do tests. And then we ask you to play games which connects you to the system, and register and play. And then we want to monitor when we give you the first coin what it is. You have to understand the beauty of what we've done in the background. In the cryptocurrency of today, they are using millions of dollars to mine. They are putting pressure on the nations to mine, to find a coin that it might be worth 1,000 or 10,000 or whatever. Cash Foundation has mined. You don't need to look for it. The only thing you need to look for is to spend it. But wisely. Don't defraud yourself because you lose yourself. These systems has a soul. This system operates with the soul of humanity. Nobody can put a gun to your head, and nobody can do anything else. And you wait and see. We fail. You are the cause of the failure. We set the system up. We are moving, and there's one thing. You are a member of armed forces. We will not give you a coin. You take from us by deception. You pay by deception. Yourself through your soul. When you lose something, when you see a damage, no, your soul gave you the punishment for it. Very simple. This system has a soul, collective soul of those who are setting it up for the change of the humanity, and you abuse it, you pay for it yourself. So understand, don't work out of the fear, work out of the strength. And you've been told Cash Foundation is a religious group, and they think, tell them this religious group pays you to spend money. Hold it. Don't do like what people did with Bitcoin, and now they're looking for it. A guy spending every year hundreds of thousands to find where they dumped his hard disk that he had so many Bitcoin on it. We have mined it. We mined it to mind you, to protect the humanity, and don't waste so much energy to mine it. Nations, 10-20% of power supply is going to those who send mining activities using energy and everything else of a nation. We've done exactly what it is. It's mined. All the coins you receive is already in our possession. Safe kept. All you need is to understand how to use it to create peace. We are giving it to you as attachment. Live by the ethos of Mitra when you receive it. and you signed a peace treaty when you received it. The game started, and I hope he immensely enjoys the game. Let's play. We come to another point. Keshe Foundation will announce very important position in regarding the fraud which we were defrauded some 5 years ago. This case has reached court this week, and a team of lawyers and everybody is else working for it. If you have a connection, you can find members of this group. The warrant for finding them and arresting them has been issued by the judges in Austria this week. One has committed is guilty, but has not appeared. If you live in Uganda, have a connection with the security services in Uganda, you have connection with security services in Nigeria, connection security services in United Arab Emirates, in Qatar and Dubai, we need your help for the warrants to be enforced and brought back to Austria for the judgment and the funds which has been what we call stolen from the Keshe Foundation. The judge has issued the warrants for the arrest this week. If you have connection in Uganda, especially in the church system of Uganda, in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, in Qatar, we need your help. Write to info@Keshe Foundation. The Austrian and Interpol will bring these people back, and the funds stolen, damages done to Keshe Foundation will be returned, will be spent again on more units for you and more peace work and the rest of the research and development. Our losses is in tens of millions. We never told you how much, but you'll find out when the judgment is published. Keshe Foundation lost heavily. We were stolen from. Now, we ask you, Uganda, South Africa, United Arab Emirates, Qatar. If you have connection, you can help us, or you know structures which can help us to track these people down, to bring them, the Austrian International Interpol police force, or will bring them back in for the judgment, and then we can recuperate tens of millions we lost. Few of you helped us, a few thousand. We honor you. It will be returned to you now that the process is completed. On Tuesday of this week, the judge has made the decision and the warrant has been issued. One of the party has confirmed his guilt and waiting for judgment, but we have to bring him back to Austria. He has confirmed to the court he accepts, has defrauded the Keshe Foundation, and waits for the judgment of the court. Help us, Uganda, Tanzania, South Africa. You have connections, we need your help. Nigeria, we need your help. United Arab Emirates, you have a connection that can help us to bring these people back to justice in Austria. The judge has issued the warrants. Helping us to find these people helps you to have a better Keshe Foundation to be set up, to be there to deliver more services to all of you. Our team of lawyers are still 3-4 days later on, is still working on it. The judges are working on it. The prosecutor of Austria is on it, and we need to complete this very quickly within the next week or two. We know some of our knowledge are strongly based in Uganda. We need you to get in touch with the authorities to bring them back into Austria. They're using fake, false passports. They're using Nigerian fake passports. And now all is on the warrant issued. We were correct, and we never lied to you. And now is in the hand of what we call, not in the hand, It's completely cycle with the judges. Now we need the warrants to be brought back to see where is the fund, how much was left, and what it is, who's involved in it. That some of the funds of the KF can be brought back, but they're working in Uganda. If you know people who work in the church services, white woman from Eastern Bloc, you send us to us. If you've seen a white woman walking around the church, we need to get access by the police. Nigerian men working in Uganda, South African white working in Uganda in the church services. We need you to tell us who they are, what they are. They have set up the same fraud in the church service of Uganda, collecting money and sending it to Europe. Please help us to bring this case now completed. It's taken its position in the courts, and the international warrant is being issued. As we said, one of the criminals has written to the judge, I accept my term, whatever you decide on the judgment. We need to bring him back, claim to be living in Dubai. We need the address. If you know, if you have a connection, contact us through info@cash.foundation, and tens of millions which has been stolen from the Cash Foundation. Damages will be returned to us. So we know one of these people holds a 29 million trust in United Kingdom, stolen from the others the same way. Thank you very much for helping us, because it helps us to what we're doing to be expanded and extended. Our lawyers team, everything is still in position. We're still holding on till all the direction dimensions completed and the arrest, or what we call search warrant, to be found, to be brought back in, is on the move. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Kish. Let me see here. We do have some questions, of course, and we have a couple of hands up. So two of our regulars, Marinez and Azar. Marinez, if you'd like to go ahead first.
Yeah, thank you, Rick. Hello, Mr. Cash. Hello, everybody.
Yeah. How are you?
Thank you very much. I wish you very much luck for all these cases you have. I hope you will win it in it.
We don't win. It's not a winning it. We spend the money for the Cash Foundation to become bigger. And these people have stole the money. It's not a winning. We're just getting what is ours back. And this is the biggest problem. I should thank the chief prosecutor of Austria for his services. It's been 2 years. I thank the Austrian police, their due diligence. I asked the judiciary, the judge, beautiful lady in the court of the Austria, they are not letting none of this go. It's one of the biggest cases in Austria for a long time. And we kept quieted. The church, as we told you in November of last year, started this process now. The court structure set up on the Tuesday. Now the warrants are issued, and it's not we get things, or we did something more. We work on sincerity, and as I said, especially the prosecutor's office of Austria, they have spent thousands of hours to bring this case into court. And I thank the authorities in Austria for their support and bringing this to this position, especially the police of Linz, the prosecutor's office in Linz. They did not stop from the second we told them. How is that? There's a big problem with the banking system. This thing has brought forth one of the biggest, what they call deceptions by the banking system. Negligence of the banks has been the cause of this loss for us, and apparently there is other people who've been hit by the same as us, and it's shown a big weakness in the banking monitoring of the Europe, where once the banks realized they made a mistake, they got involved in a big fraud, which they should have had their due diligence, then they make the company who was there not to in a way to silence them, terrorist organization. And they have no say in it. No, you have no say when they do this money laundering and terrorism, and they pass it on to the police. In a way, their fault, their mistakes becomes your headache. And now we're taking this to the European, what we call central finance system, that the banks can no longer independently, what we call close an account on the false pretenses because of their misjudgment or officers in their bank working with the fraudsters. This size of a scale of fraud can never happen by people abusing it. Somebody inside tells them where the victims are. They organize themselves. And this has to go that we are asking from the authorities, because we've been through it, that banks from now on, if they want to make allegation a company or individual is part of the terrorism and money laundering, has to go to a judge. A judge has to decide, not the banks to cover the shortfalls. Because if they find such a thing, by European standards, Central European Bank will charge a 500 million penalties. And they have used this on Cash Foundation heavily, and now it's on the table. And we are requesting the European Central Bank to take this power from what we call the banks. No individual account can be closed without a verdict by a judge. And a lot of things in this case has come up, how bank officers are working hand in hand with these criminal groups. They know where the victim is. They tell them where to go and look for. And so it's not a luck. It's in a way what happened to us can bring a peace to many, many companies, which the bank inside officers and the criminals work together. And the Venetian case found out the bank officer calls it terrorism and what we call money laundering to cover themselves. But now we have the name of the officers, we have the name of the CEO of one of the major banks in Europe is involved. His name is recorded. How much is received is recorded. And now you will see one of the AAA banks in Europe will come into the court. The CEO was the organizer of the biggest fraud in Europe. And so it's a good move. It's a fantastic move. At least our pain and what we went through will give a chance to the others not to go through it and takes one of the biggest loopholes in the banking system in Europe.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you for your transparency and sharing it with us. I wish that
we could not say anything now. Now the case is set in the court and the judgment is made and warrants are issued now by the judge. Before we had a warrant which was issued by a prosecutor. They don't carry much weight. But once one of the senior in the criminal courts issues a warrant, then Interpol and the European governments have to respond to it. Now we have received that. It's on the move. And we'll see how it happens and what it takes shape. But again, we are looking for knowledge seekers in these countries. We know these people are operating out of now. They're defrauding more people to be brought into justice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I hope you're successful in that part also.
It's now in the hand of the governments.
Wow. So my question is, you talked about emotion and the double core dynamic, and I wanted to see the state of emotion and this double core. How does it show in an image? How and what?
Yes,
what's
the force. It's the force you feel. It's the force you feel. Many of you, once you learn this, especially of those, even of an older age, your dream was to have a child. And if you learn how to bring this energy in position and how to release it, you can release the seed of your child. This is how daughters of Mitra will be born. We teach you in the future how to do it. You feel it. And if it's been a dream of people in the old age or people who cannot have children through what they call DNA mismatch and what we call every other name, you can create your own child through the dimensions of the energies, but you have to learn how. And this is something, is not theory, it's been tested and it works. And now you have to learn the way you learn how to feed yourself, the way you learn how to write, how to read, the learn you start enjoying certain musics. Now you have to learn how to carry the energies of your body that allows you to interact with your own soul, and then the rest of it is in your head. You decide where energy is released. You decide how the energy is released. You decide you want to have a child with another human or another energy you fell in love in the universe with. Sorry, they have no penis and they have no vagina, but they carry the womb of love in their lives. And you need to understand how it works.
You said they carry the womb of love where?
Of course, every creature has. In the body of the woman, we carry it in the womb of the woman. It's just, we always look that the physical things comes in and you get egg and a sperm, and then you get the, whatever you call it, the seed of the life. If you listen to teaching of today, every cell has a soul. When you release the soul, you create the life. When the body completes, when is the central soul is created, why don't you create children through the interaction of the souls and let the environment of the womb of the mother to be the condition of physicality to manifest? Virgin birth. Now, maybe you understand exactly what it means.
That's all so beautiful and so...
It's not beautiful, it's the way it will work.
Together.
It's the way it will work. It's the only way we can become part of the universal community. We don't say you're Chinese, you can't have a child with the African. We don't say because you are European, you can't have a child with the Australian Aborigines. We fall in love and we create children of man. Now we become passengers of the universe. We create the children of the universe. And unfortunately, as we see them, they don't have any mouth. They don't have any sexual reproduction that you can play with.
Yes. And then when you said transmutation, is it, can it be just by soul?
Of
or
course.
Is it, okay.
It's the energy field. You call it a soul. We call it a soul because it's easier for people to understand. But it's the energy field. It has emotion. It knows. How come you know where you go at night when you dream? Yeah. So does the soul. But sorry, your addresses are not GPS Earth anymore. Your addresses in your, what we call your GPS of your soul, is everything on the Earth plus what's in the universe.
Yeah. How long can we transmute? Is there a deadline to go and come back?
Oh, you can transmute for the life of the universe.
And come back to the body?
You create the body, the time, place, and position.
Okay.
If you manage to find your way back to Earth, yes, why not?
Okay, very much. Yeah, I just stop here to let others to ask. Thank you very much. Very beautiful, exciting future waiting for us.
Thank you very much.
Thank
we have
you.
to finish at about what we call 2030 European Central Time in another 45 minutes. I have to go into another session of work. Any other question?
Thank you, Mr. Kesh. Well, let's hear from Azar, and then we'll go into some of our other questions that are listed here.
Hi, Mr. Kesh.
Hello, hi.
Hi,
Which
Rick.
part of the world are we in? South America, Central America, Europe, Iran?
No, I'm in Mexico, Mexico.
Oh, thank you very much. Hot and spicy. Carry on.
Yes. Okay. Before I ask my question, you gave the name of the countries that you're looking for these people, but you gave no name. So how people gonna look for them?
Send us an information who you are, how you can help us. We put you in touch with the Interpol, with the police in Austria and the court, and you can release everything to them.
Okay. Okay.
Now it's very official because now the court structure is set, and the hardest thing was one of the, what do you call it, criminals to be convicted or to confirm to the crime. And now that one of the top people in the fraud case has written to the court and accepting the judgment of the court about himself confirming the crime, it's made it very easy for us. Now we have to get the rest of them back into Austria for their prison sentences and all the penalties and everything, and just find out better. The police knows where the monies are sitting. So once the case closes, it will disclose to us what is left of the looting.
Okay. My question goes back to that myelin and myelinated sheath and melanoma. Okay, melanoma. So because we know the melanin, they get the cosmic ray and then transfer to myelin. And we know like the whole our nervous system is covered, we call it myelinated sheath. Without the myelinated sheath, nothing happened. Like in case of Parkinson and Alzheimer, we actually see there is no myelinated sheath, they lose that. So
yes, but you have to understand, why.
So that's my question. You see, because without the myelinated sheath, just because myelinated sheath is just like a copper wire, like when you have a copper wire that has plastic on it and you take it and make it naked, that's how that plastic is gone, become naked. The nervous system is naked, so there is no plastic. So now the connection between the melanin in the skin and the myelinated sheath is the emotion?
Of course.
So our emotion actually is a key to everything, because
of course that's why all that teaching is about.
So the whole thing is, if we have only and become like God himself, because we are the image of God, become like God himself, and the only thing we carry is love, we can do anything we want. But we have these ideas about love that is something that you have sometimes towards some people and not towards some other people. But we have to be constantly love, or doesn't matter what.
It's unconditional. It's not love. It's unconditional. Being aware of that, I'm not the most important thing. Let me explain to you something very easily, because scientifically we can refer to it. As we see in Chernobyl, the myelin goes dark because of the energy conversion it receives. The myelin, which is the replication connection to melanin inside the brain, when it receives the extra energy from the soul, from emotion, it goes dark. We see gray spots in where they say the Parkinson grows. We see change of composition. It's the same as it goes black in Chernobyl. So we don't create more of, we convert, we change it. More energy comes in an emotional level. There is no myelin cover, whatever. And then we see melanin inside the brain cell, and usually associated where we see Alzheimer's, where we see Parkinson. So we understand how melanin inside the brain converts energy, receives so much energy at the cosmic radiation from the soul, that it converts it into a dark. We see the gray patches on the brain. If you understand this, we have a clear. We could not understand this till Chernobyl in 1990s. Chernobyl disaster brought a huge insight into nuclear industry and what we call the structure of the melanin. But it's kept away. Nobody knows about it. Unless you work like us in the nuclear industry, we watched it, we monitored it. We seen the change in the structure of the animals around the Chernobyl. Even the brain structure has a different composition than we have to, because the high radiation, melanin in the brain has received so much energy that has changed the gene of the animals. And so if you can reduce that field strength, you can have what we call Parkinson. Very soon, Keshe Foundation in Chinese operation will test this. We bring this as a product, certified. Because we understand the energy change. There's no need, once we understand this, to go through this rigmarole of what we had with all these nonsense of chemicals and the rest of it. You look at Chernobyl, go and study Chernobyl, melanin production, dark black. Why is it black? Because it literally creates a melanin nanocoating to absorb more energy from its environment, that it can protect itself from it. In a way, the nano-coated melanin becomes that black, what we call black hole, protecting the cell inside it. That's what it is. And we have the same in the brain of the man. It's a huge, huge structure in the pharmaceutical which goes to the wall with this. And we have on our plans in next coming months that this, we understand it through energy, will transfer what we call the conditions in hospitals and as a system in China. You have a Parkinson, go to China in Chinese hospitals, go through the process, and then you understand it's not there anymore. And it's very clear. You just don't see any more gray spots. That's it. We get emotionally depressed. We don't want to remember. We create our own Alzheimer's. We release so much energy that we isolate, we bring nano-coating, we isolate it, and it shows us gray in the brain. It's very, very simple.
And Mr. Keshe, in terms of the melanin, you see, is it melanin in African American people different from white people? Because because a 55-year-old woman, African American, looks 35, but 35-year-old Danish woman looks 55. So they wrinkle quickly. So it should be a melanin that causes them to become young, and the other one become older quicker. Is it right?
Can you repeat?
So the melanin is different from African American to white people. So a 55-year-old African looks 35-year-old. When you look at their skin, there's no wrinkle. But 35-year-old Danish woman looks 55. They have so wrinkles so quickly. Is it the melanin cause of that wrinkle? Or it has to do with the melanin and emotion? Because I don't know, but most of African American, when you see them, men and women, I've seen many of them, they don't age. I mean, they don't age like white people.
Yes, it's just the way we perceive them. The absorption of the fields is the cause of this problem. And this is...
When you say is my perception, it means I'm blind. I see wrinkles when I'm not.
They look that they're young, plus they're 30, 40. You see, we have historical age, what do you call it, people historically lived into hundreds, 200, 300. It are people who are followed historically. and they lived into what we call, there is one historical man in the history of man. They think he lived 1,000 or something. But in 200 and 300, we have many who lived this span. It's not just something we do. When you look at their skin, it's not what we see in the normal people, shrinkle, wrinkly. It's part of genetic, part of how they live, and part of how the skin absorbs energy. How you it's partially emotion. As I said many times before, from very young age, I could stand high level of radiation. But why? Why I can handle nuclear materials, everybody else dies of it. For 20, 30 years, I handle nuclear materials as you handle forks and spoons. And some people, the minute they come in touch with it, they get all sorts of diseases. What allows us to, I get the plasma burns. If you ever work with me, I carry a huge plasma burns. If it's left in the hand of, if you have the plasma burns I have, you have first, second, third degree, every kind of burn in your body. Takes months to repair. Plasma burns on my skin last 24 to 48 hours. And you don't see any sign of it. There is no skin damage. if you ever work with me, I carry a huge plasma burns. If it's left in the hand of, if you have the plasma burns I have, you have first, second, third degree, every kind of burn in your body. Takes months to repair. Plasma burns on my skin last 24 to 48 hours. And you don't see any sign of it. There is no skin damage. Each one of us does different kind of energy transfer and to the emotion. And I said this in a talk to someone very recently, that my mission is peace, and no energy level exists to stop that. Anything else, you just overcome it. The emotion of creating a balanced life, a peaceful life on this planet is higher than anything else. I don't care where I live, how I live, how I eat, as long as at the end of the day, in 5 years' time, in 2 years' time, leads to establishment of peace, and a lot of it goes on. A lot of knowledge seekers, especially in the past few weeks, they say, we see how you're coming back, helping us, giving us your technologies, giving us your knowledge, sharing with us. And a couple of knowledge seekers recently in the Keshwan said, Mr. Kesh, you gave it free and now it's all coming back. I said, that's what the life is. I didn't ask for anything. And we see it. It's the love of peace creating condition. I need something, I go to the knowledge seekers. How many knowledge seekers in past few weeks and months have approached? I need this. Can you help us? You have the knowledge. Can you join us? You can support us financially. Can you help us to bring there? You can support us through your connections, that you can make it easier for us to work. We gave it free. They tested it. And now they're putting it back in. Emotion and what we call the yearn, the emotion of trying to achieve, always succeeds.
Mr. Kesh, talking about peace, isn't it time to give this energy thing to bring it? I mean, I was actually got some color painting, and then I was making a diagram of all the wires and how you can make the energy with magnet, like infinite energy with almost nothing. But then when I look at how many people are dying in Middle East, from both sides, isn't it time to just give this?
No,
but
you see, Azarjan, there is a thing with the Jews in the Torah. Sometime I was discussing this with some high-ranking officials, why Israel is doing and how they're planning, and what Chinese said. If one nuclear bomb happens in Iran, there'll be no state of Israel. It's a warning coming directly from the CPC and the military of China. It means they're going to go. But you have to understand how these people think. From last Monday till the 2nd of August is the time, according to Jewish prophecy, the war has to start to finish in the benefit of the Israel, and then the Jews by the October will not exist. And that's what they're trying. That's why everything was done this way. And by next Sunday, 2nd of August, this cycle passes. If the Jews do not create a third world war to bring the nation of Iran to an end, they lose their window of Messiah to come. You have to understand a lot of things when you speak about Iran. Americans have spent approximately $30 to $35 billion on equipment, bombs, and losses. Americans have signed 2.5 trillion contracts, arms, defense, in the same period with the nations in the Middle East. Has been 100 times more profitable to keep this war going. Trump family has made over 250 billion in this war. They spent 30 billion. They have received 2.5 trillion contracts. Now you understand why the war is going on.
I mean, these nations are so stupid.
It's what it is. This has been one of the most profitable wars for the American industry. And all the ones which made money in it are the ones which Trump has bought shares in it and then keeps on announcing why it is. But Lockheed Martin, Mr. Smart Guy, and everybody else. No war. How can you invest 30 million, maybe a few thousand lives of Americans, and make 2.5 trillion? It's in the public. Go and see how many contracts they've signed and they're still signing. All signed by what do you call it, the Trump's family. You think they care about life? But we take life. But this philosophy, this prophecy that he has to complete by 2nd of August is on the card. And that's why they're trying to push the war in the next 10 days. If they miss this chance, the Messiah will not come for the Jews in October. Even if it means the last day on the 2nd of August, they use a nuclear bomb on Iran, they will do, because they work on this philosophy of what we call. And then we see nothing will happen in October. They're working on windows, and that's why they started the heavy bombing in past 7, 8, 10 days, because they need this window. They're fulfilling their process.
So what's going to happen if nothing happens by August 2nd? It means they're going to die?
We wait and see. No, it's the prophecy of the end of Judaism and the coming of Messiah. They're working this. You have to see the Iranians work on the reverse of this, and the Jews work on the other reverse side. If you listen to the Iranian forces, they call it the forces of Mehdi has come into operation. They're defending. This is how ridiculous. People don't listen, you just pass it on. They just, because you're not aware of what's going on. But we watch, we monitor.
But Mr. Cash, I was listening to Al-Aqsa's interview, and the way they bombed Ayatollah Khamenei and all of the other groups, they all did it in one day, all building at the same time, and Al-Aqsa was one of them, and he actually came out with a rubble. I mean, he was lucky. But then, how could you kill all the?
We knew in intelligence services, we knew that Khamenei and his son will be killed in the first day. We knew weeks before. It's not something in the operation of international security, we knew. We informed Iran because this was part of the closest person to him was appointed. He gave the code where they are, everybody is. He got on the plane, went to Turkey. And he signed a $2 trillion contract with Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump has a $2 trillion contract to come into Iran to build all the bridges, and he's already signed. The guy who was the head of the security of Ayatollah Khamenei. You don't know, forget about it. We knew this was, we knew. It's just, they couldn't find a person. For weeks they were looking for him. It's all set up, it's all part of their philosophy and their belief, but they have to finish this by 2nd of August, next Sunday. It's a phase of it, has to be done. This phase completes, then the next phase starts for Trump to be called the forthcomer of Messiah. His son-in-law becomes the Messiah, and the rest of it. It's all set up. This guy who's running around, his son-in-law, is supposed to be the promised one. He's the guy who brings everything back to Israel. That's why he's signing all the contracts on behalf of. You look at any contract signed with America, he's not in there, and he's not in the name of this or Israel. Next session, Azajan, I have to go.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kesh. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Kesh. We have a number of questions, of course, but I'd like to address things such as, is it going to be mandatory to have a Cashcoin ID wallet to play the cash game of peace and enlightenment? Question from Jay.
Cashcoin wallet is set up for the Cashcoin, not for the game. You can use it. We provide it, we can use it, but the system is getting upgraded. A new, what you call, IT team has been put together this week to speed up everything else. And thanks to knowledge arranging these things, providing us with all this support. We explained to you how it's going to work. Let us get this 25 units, what do you call it, in operation. They're coming in phases. And then once they tell us all the things are done, the games are connected to the coins, all the systems talking to each other, everything else which goes behind it, all the programs of the security works on the background with it, then we release the first coins. If you have a wallet or you have a Cashcoin wallet, you start seeing it because nobody has received the coins yet. So your Cashcoin wallet on the circle on the left-hand side, top left-hand side is all 0. When you receive it, you see it, and then we ask you to spend it. We want to see how it operates in the spending, how it works with transferring from one to another. What keys do you use? Do you use treasures? Which model? All that has to be checked. Are you keeping it in a safe wallet? How your wallet safe it is? We come and structure to steal your coin, most probably to see if your coin is stolen, how does it show in our system? Can we track it? All this needs to be done in the next 2 or 3 months, and then we'll see. Because we guaranteed if somebody steals your coin, people have a heart attack and die because they lose their investments, what they saved. We don't do that. We replace it, but we check first, see where it's gone, how it is, can we check it? Any other questions?
Okay, to be clear, Irmgard has a question. Do new players who have not been knowledge seekers need to buy wallets to receive coins, or can they play a while and later buy the wallet?
We tell you, let us work on it. We tell you in more detail how we're going to do it.
So for now, just play the game and don't worry too much about the wallet.
Don't worry about the wallet at the moment till we test it ourselves. We're going, the units should land in your front body cold doors in next hours or days, gradually. And just don't do anything with it. Just plug and play it. Just plug it, connect the cable to the electricity, connect the cable to the internet. You have to have a landline. If you don't have a landline, we check one by one. You will not receive your unit. You have to wait till we check. It's important if you have a high speed cables, internet connection at home, it's perfect for us. If you have a problem in connecting and using Wi-Fi, at the moment, we prefer to, for the first 100 or 200, to connect people with landline that we can see our problems. Wi-Fi always have problems in and out, and it can cause, when we set up our backup structure, then we handle the people with the Wi-Fi, but it's normal.
Now, to be clear about that, do people play the game through the
no.
Through the units? No. They use their own internet service.
They use their own. Don't touch these things. Just plug and play. Is for us to create an infrastructure. You're literally one of the legs of a building. You're not the rooms in the building. You can do whatever you like in your rooms. But this is the foundation of the work. And we have to reach 10,000 by next year. But we have to find a way to do it properly. And we need just a lot of help to get the first phase done. And thanks to one of the knowledge seekers, he brought a team of his expertise with him to us this week, and they're working on it now. You will see a lot of things will move speedily from now on, I hope. Any other question?
Okay. Very good. We have a comment from Need from the Brazilian community through Raphael regarding the pain and what you were describing. They say, I've been doing this with my pain, and it is happening exactly the way he described, he being you, Mr. Kesh. I started doing it after he taught about clearing the lymph. I don't know how the idea came into my mind, but I felt that if I focused my thoughts and my energy on the place where I was feeling the pain, connecting it to the soul of the man together with the emotion, something would happen. And that is exactly what has been happening to me. Whenever I feel the pain, I do this and it disappears immediately. Thank you, Mr. Kesh, for everything you are teaching us. May the Creator and the Universal Council always be with you.
But you have to remember, not only putting it your emotion intention to, you have to pinpoint physically where the point is. You do the breathing, one cycle of it. I mean, one part of it is that. The other is you have to bring the muscle tissues in that position into action. It means, let's say you have a pain in your knee. You contract the pain, you contract the muscle tissue. When you contract the muscle tissue, you have to breathe in. Let's say four counts or 6 counts. Then when you hold, but you're not breathing, let's say 4 counts, you still hold the tightness. And then when you let the muscle go, you breathe out. Your breathe out should be always more than your breathe in because you're taking the pain out. And then you need that gap of 2-3 points, what you call it, counts, at the end of when you breathe out to bring balance to the point. At that point, at this time, when you're breathing in and you're breathing out, you bring the concentration of emotion to the same place. Now you tell him where it is. That contraction gives him the address, where the emotion has to go, where the energy has to go to the soul of the muscle tissue there. All these cells. This is how it works. This is how we could lose our leg and grow it back. But that's another technique. It goes not just thinking. You have a pain in your joint, let's say in your elbow. Your muscle tissue in that elbow, where it is, you contract. You say, this is where I would, you put the address on it. And then in that contraction, when you contract, you breathe in. You have to breathe in because now you're changing the dimension of the forces, fields, lymph in that point. And then you hold it. That holding time is handing over, switching, getting the pain, releasing the pain. And then you breathe out. Because you collected the pain, pain has more energy than when you're breathing in. So if you count for 6 or 4 counts of 1, 2, 3, 4, and you hold it for 1 or 2, 4, and then you breathe out 6 because you absorb more energy, you have to get more out. Otherwise it stays in. And then you leave 2 seconds or 2 counts or 3 counts at the end that it goes. You can't do this with anything. If you are men and you have a problem with your, God knows, private part, understand how to use your muscles. Then you can become like an 18-year-old. If you are a 60-year-old and you cannot, 70-year-old, you cannot walk. You have a pain in your hip. Try to contract the hip, but breathe into it. Tell him where you want it. There's no use sending a letter out when you've got no address. You contract the muscle tissue where it's the pain, and you breathe in so the lymph knows this is where I have to work. with the breathing, the energy in the blood goes to that position. You hold the hand over time, and then you breathe out, you take the pain out, and then you hold. Body physiology with the emotion, but you have to keep the emotion. This is what I want to happen. It's not just by breathing, you're just doing another exercise. Then what we call melanin and the myelin in that position bring the energy to change the soul. That's where it is. The emotion and physicality meet each other. And if you know what to do, how to do it, put the emotion to it, you haven't walked for 20 years, you walk in 20 minutes. Any other question?
Do you think in that situation, would it be better to work in silence or to work with certain kinds of music or other types of influences?
You can do it walking in a jungle.
It's whatever works at the time, whatever you need at the time.
But you have to do it repetitively to clean out. You'll find out, for example, you can't hold more than 2 counts, 3 counts. And then next time it'll be 3, 4 counts. A week later it'll be 5 or 10 counts because the pain is gone. Now there's more flexibility. It doesn't happen magic, or sometimes does, but it needs working on. It needs to be done. You can even do it with your heart. You can do it with your any part of your body. If you look, take a picture of yourself sideways, not just I stand and take a picture. Get someone to take a picture of from your side while you're not paying attention. And then watch how your tip of your shoulders are aligned with each other with your neck. If it's folded forward, it means you're under mental pressure. Bring it back, open the chest. Air intake changes, and then you bring your breathing to the air intake. And then you feel, I feel better. I have no emotional problem. My body goes away in its own direction. We can do a lot because we don't understand it. We are trapped into it. You can live hundreds of years. You feel yourself. Any other question?
Okay, we have another question about the unit. Gail mentions that no one has a landline in rural areas, but connects to the internet with a router or data SIM card. There may be a dish to concentrate the signal. Would that be sufficient? At the present time, the signal does reduce and Zoom room connection is lost and most of the time connects again. Do we have to have a connection that is never lost? Is that possible?
At the moment, yes. At the moment for us, yes. But in the future, because when these things expand to thousands, they monitor all the time how long it's come, when it comes. I mean, you are a fantastic person to give a unit to, Rick, but you always have a cutout because you have a problem where you live. You're a nightmare for us at the moment. But once we put what we call cosmic ray antennas, you can do whatever you like. You just throw the antenna or your, routers away because the connection is made with everyone. It's just a process of development. You just got to bear with us. At the moment, we need a fixed line, higher speed that we can test our systems, and then gradually, yes.
Okay, we have several questions that I think are related, and it's in a whole different category here. So from Paulo, I believe in Brazilian, respected Professor Kesh, given how disruptive plasma science and its technologies are, it is necessary to also lead an artistic movement, such as Postmodern Week. This event could take place concurrently with the October 23rd, 24th Congress in Switzerland, and thus promote and invite the great influencers in literature and the visual arts from all nations to encourage them to produce art for these new times of plasma science in people's daily lives. It is not enough to aspire to be at the forefront of science, nor will it make sense if it is not also at the forefront in literature, visual arts, and all other arts.
You have to understand, in a number of European countries, if in your thesis, in universities, in your, what you refer to, if you refer to Keshe Foundation, your thesis will be rejected, you don't get your PhD. It's a law. The same lawmaker give them 30 coins and say you're going to spend 30,000, but you have to pay your taxes. They grab it. We know what we are doing. Just leave it to us. We use the greed of the man. And then you see how fast everything Keshe Foundation says and does is correct, because I get my 30. You're a member of the military forces, you get none. You work in defense technology, arms, you get none. We'll find out, we see it. And then this is a disadvantage. If you're a family of a military, you receive none. Your neighbor gets 100,000 coins a year. Now you understand how it works.
Well, Paulo gives the example in 1558, Peter Bruegel painted the landscape with the fall of Icarus, a famous story from Greek mythology. The narrative power of this work was able to give longevity to the myth to this day. Moving from the 16th to the 20th, actually 21st century, we have a group of intellectuals in Brazil leading the Week of 22, which has influenced artistic creation in the country to this day. Maybe that was in the 20th century. And then we have other information about what about using, for example, GANs in painting. And
we done that. We have a lot of painting still sitting with us.
But what if it was more widespread, so to speak? And
actually, the thing is, the whole foundation-based work for the new technology is set. Our Chinese operation is extensively expanding in the next 12 months. Then we have the points and these ONN units expanding heavily. It's time for the technology to emerge. And once people get paid money for it, they agree with it, it becomes a no. We know what we are doing, don't worry. All you need to do to your husband says, you hate Keshe Foundation. You can go now and sign peace treaty and say, I want to be a member of the association, and get your 30 coins. Don't do anything. This year you can't do. Next year you have 6, because what you haven't claimed this now is gone. Next year is not there. If you are 64, 65, 60, you haven't claimed, it's gone. But if you're 60 and get 40 coins, in a year time, 40 coins can give you a lot of things, because now it gets accepted with more people. Yeah. So then the technology is accepted because I get money from it. You understand? This is the habit of man. And you have to sign every year, otherwise your coin doesn't come out that year. Then you understand. A lot of people do fake signing, but there's a touch, you sign peace treaty and you sign to the foundation. And this is how doctors become doctors and so on, to secrecy, because I accept it, I do it. We know.
Sorry, go ahead.
Carry on. We know how to use the greed of the man to change the mind of the man. Carry on.
I know we're very limited for time right now. We have 2 hands up with a couple of regulars, Jalal and Dean. Go ahead, Jalal.
Yeah,
we'll get Dean next if there's time.
Hi, Jalal.
Are you there, Jalal? I see your microphone's open, but I'm not hearing you speak yet.
He's talking to his soul. He's good at it.
He's trying to... there we got it.
Yes, we can.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening.
Are you on planet Zeus?
Again, you're breaking up.
Yeah. What can I do, Mr. Cash? If I want to understand the breathing system, is it like what we done before with the batches? The pain is a strong source of energy, and the batches is a low.
That's a physical method. Now
Yeah.
you can do it yourself. You don't need that way.
Exactly. So we are using the breathing, which is going inside and holding the breathing for it to reduce the strength of the matter state to become nano in a way. And we're holding the pain and thinking about the point of the pain as a strong plasma.
Yeah.
A strong plasma always gives to the weaker plasma, yes?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking in that way.
Yeah.
Right.
You see, psychologically, on the emotion side, when you hold your breath, is a panic. And panic brings weakness. And that's the time when you take the energy from the point. You understand?
Wow. Yeah. Yes.
And this is the way it works.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Cash. So it's
Thank
a very
you very
quick
much.
question.
Thank you very much. Thank you indeed. Dean, you have one question, 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Kesh. Thank you, Rick. So, Mr. Kesh, if I've got one quick question would be the ONN units. How are they going to be linked? They will, I presume, are linked to world events at the moment, because this is a very significant move by the foundation.
What do you mean?
What I mean is, like, all the hostilities and everything that we see taking place on the planet right now, and all the things directed towards Iran and everything. These units are designed to bring in a structure to bring peace to humanity, and are very powerful individuals on the planet aware of this.
Let me explain to you something a far distance, but not very far.
Okay.
At the moment, we use these hornets. In the coming time, those of you who became satellite, you take over this position of hornets. Those of you who, because your brain is under the computer, put it that way. Once we established on through physical method, then we established what we call the cosmic ray. The next step is what we set up as obesos, the head units. And then once your brain gets tuned to, it connects direct. Those of you who wanted to become satellite, many of you registered for it. Those of you who are members of Universal Council, you all get into this position. Set up. It's time to deliver. You become the one answer.
Then when that happens, then, Mr. Kesh, then it's a total game changer, because those people are responsible, and they have the ethos of the foundation. So it's a total game changer. Yes,
this is why members of Universal Council volunteer themselves to serve. They're not chosen, because the soul is already set for that purpose.
Thank you for today, Mr. Kesh. Thank you very much.
Thank you. See you next week. And in the next couple of weeks, once our team in the background are ready, we call a date for that meeting of you who's registered to be on the first slot on Cosmic Ray remote system individuals, which is now more or less operational. Please, those of you who received the ONNs in your packages, in your post in the coming days and weeks, do not announce it. Do not make yourself a target. Just plug it. We know where you are. We'll see your system coming online. Our people watch it. They know what it is. And if you have a breakdown, let us know. If something happens, your internet, you lose it, let us know. That we understand you are aware of it. Thank you very much, and see you next week. And I hope we have fun. fantastic time next week.
And will next week be at the 6 p.m. time?
No,
like this
the
week?
normal time. This
Normal
time
time.
was, yeah, this time the reason we changed it was because of this court case. Now you know. The reason has been all to do with this evolution with this court case, which has taken 5 years to come into the courts now. The judge has issued the search and international warrant, the rest which comes with it, then we move on. Thank you very much indeed, and see you next week.
Okay, thank you. So by regular time, we mean 9 a.m. as the regular Thursday time. So that'll be July 30th, I believe, next week for the 653rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop. Let me see, before we end, I think we have something from Lissy that she'd like to say about the Universal Council. I don't see her here in the list right now. If there is someone from the Universal Council who wanted to read the invitation to join for the peace, they could put their hand up so I can recognize them, or, there we go. Elizabeth,
hello.
would you like to go ahead? Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Rich. The first time I say thank you so much, Mr. Case, for your permanent work and your knowledge and love you give to us. Thank you for that. Second, invite to the people, the all communities, please ask to your soul to apply for be part of the Universal Council, because need one people represent for each community in any language. So one for the country, I think. And next, you say, thank you so much, beautiful soul, because we are the soul of peace, and you give unconditionally your soul all time, freely, for achieve the peace. And in that direction, I invite daily to 9 p.m. Central European Summer Time to elevate the soul of the all leaders in every nation and all communities, scientist community, religious leaders, I think artists leaders, all leaders, the all communities, to work one soul in one direction to achieve peace as one nation, one planet, one race. In that moment, it's possible unifying our souls. In that meeting, please connect your soul of physicality to your soul to expand, to unify all beings in existence to an intention than that wish for 1 minute. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lissy, and thanks to the members of the Universal Council for the work they do as well. And speaking of which, our next public teaching workshop will be on Tuesday, the 28th of July. and that will be with members and support members of the Universal Council, who will present the One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace program. And everyone's invited to join in and participate in that show. And it, in a way, brings out the soul of the Keshe Foundation. All right. I think that brings to a close today's program. If there's any leftover questions, which I know there are, you can bring them through till next week and we'll try to address them. And thank you everyone for attending here, the 652nd Knowledge Seekers Workshop on Thursday, July 23rd, 2026. Bye for now, and we'll see you in the next public teaching, perhaps.